information here that says that someone from this telephone number is expecting a call from us today. Would you be that person? Okay, excellent. And could you confirm your name for me? Okay, perfect. So as I said, my name is Violet, and I've been dispatched today to ask you a series of questions. Some of them are establishing baseline information for your file, and others are to get a current reading on your emotions and mood from the last time until now. Right, so a comparison essentially. Exactly. Would now be a good time for you to do this? Okay, great. So let's see here. As you know, we work from home offices at eloMED, so may I please get a good callback number in the event that we are disconnected? Okay, perfect, thank you. Do you have any questions for me before we begin the survey? Yes, all of this information will be kept completely confidential. There is no other doctor that is going to see this information, even unless your personal doctor with us informs you ahead of time. So this is just for the doctor that you currently and frequently work with. Okay, great. Alright, so if you're ready to begin, the first few questions are going to be asking you about sort of your general lifestyle and, as I said, establishing somewhat of a baseline. Right, kind of just your overall way of life. Okay. Okay, so are you currently a member of any clubs, organizations, or societies? And I have a list here of different potential clubs and societies that you might belong to, so I will read all of those out right now, and if any of them pertain to you, just let me know. Okay. A political party, trade union, or environmental group. Okay. A tenants group, neighborhood group, or a neighborhood watch program. Okay. What about a church or a religious group? Okay. And do you participate with any charitable organizations? Okay, what about any educational, arts, or music groups or evening classes? Okay, alright. Any social groups? Any sports clubs, gyms, or exercise classes? Okay. And are there any other organizations or clubs or societies that I did not list that you are a part of? Okay, great. So the next question is on a scale. So I'll ask you the question and then I will read out the 5 possible answers on the scale, and then you let me know which one aligns with how you feel. less than most, about the same, more than most, or much more than most? Okay. Alright, so next is another question about your lifestyle habits. In the last 12 months, so over the last year, have you given any unpaid help in any of the following ways? So just tell me yes or no, okay? Alright. Raising or handling money or taking part in sponsored events. Leading a group or being a member of a committee. Organizing or helping to run an activity or event. Visiting people. Befriending or mentoring people. Giving advice, information, or counseling. Secretarial, administrative, or clerical work. Providing transportation or driving. Representing or campaigning. Any other practical help, so like maybe helping out at school or with shopping for your household, any chores, that sort of thing. And is there anything that I did not say that you've done in the last year that has been unpaid help that you have offered to others? Okay. Next question is on a scale again, okay? The question is simply, do you intend to volunteer in the future? And your answer choices are yes, no, maybe, or I don't know. Okay. Okay, so we're going to now ask you some questions about how you currently feel. If you don't want to answer any of the questions, that's perfectly fine, and you can tell me skip. Okay. There's no So the answers for these questions will be either hardly ever, meaning like never or close to never, some of the time, or often. Okay. So for the first one, how often do you feel that you lack companionship? How often do you feel left out? Question 3, how often do you feel isolated from others? Of course, yeah, the answers were hardly ever, meaning next to never, close to never, some of the time, or often. Okay. And how often do you feel in tune with the people around you? Okay, great, thank you. Next, I'm going to be asking you questions about your friends and family. Okay. So this is concerning your relationships with any friends and family. So, not counting the people that you live with, how often do you do any of the following, whether it be with children, family, or friends? Correct. So this is anyone outside of your household. Okay. And I'm going to tell you the scenario, and then I'm going to give you 6 different options that you can choose from. Okay. So the first one is meet up in person. So how often do you meet up in person with people who do not live in your household, but that you would consider a friend or family member? Your answer choices are 3 times a week or more, once or twice a week, once or twice a month, every few months, once or twice a year, or less than once a year, or never. Okay. And the next one is speak on the phone, and your answer selections are the same. 3 times a week or more, once or twice a week, once or twice a month, every few months, once or twice a year, or less than once a year, or never. Okay, next is email or write. 3 times a week or more, once or twice a week, once or twice a month, every few months, once or twice a year, less than once a year, or never. Okay. And finally, text message. Okay. 3 times a week or more, once or twice a week, once or twice a month, every few months, once or twice a year, less than once a year, or never. Perfect, thank you. And I apologize for all the repetition, but it is mandated that I read all of the questions in their entirety. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so now thinking about people in your local area. How often do you speak to help you, or when you go to the doctor, people that you see if you go out, say to the store, and so on. Okay, so the question is, how often do you speak to anyone who isn't a family member? And then all of the examples are potential people who count, but they must be local to you. Okay. Your answer options are every day or almost every day, 3 times a week or more, once or twice a week, a few times a month, once a month, once every 2 months, every few months, once or twice a year, or less than once a year, or never. Okay. Excellent. So now we are going to move on to questions about your health and your well-being, okay? So this is going to focus on your feelings and your thoughts. Okay, and I'd like for you to answer these questions based on your experience over the last 2 weeks. Okay. Alright, so these are going to be on a scale. All of these statements are on the same scale of 5 potential answers. Okay, so I've been feeling optimistic about the future. None of the time, rarely, some of the time, often, or all of the time. Optimistic, yes. Okay. I've been feeling useful. None of the time, rarely, some of the time, often, or all of the time. I've been feeling relaxed. None of the time, rarely, some of the time, often, or all of the time. I've been dealing with problems well. None of the time, rarely, some of the time, often, or all of the time. Okay, I've been thinking clearly. None of the time, rarely, some of the time, often, or all of the time. I've been feeling close to other people. None of the time, rarely, some of the time, often, or all of the time. And finally, I've been able to make up my own mind about things. None of the time, rarely, some of the time, often, or all of the time. Okay, perfect. Next are some personal questions about you. Okay. eloMED likely has most of the answers to these questions. However, sometimes things change, so we do like to update and ask again. Okay. So the first one is your gender. You can choose male, female, or prefer not to say. Is your gender the same as it was when you were registered at birth? Yes, no, or prefer not just Irish, Gypsy or Irish traveler, any other white background, mixed ethnic background, Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Chinese, any other Asian background, African, Caribbean, any other Black, African, or Caribbean background, Arab, any other ethnic group, or prefer not to say. Okay. What is your religion? We have no religion, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, other religion, or prefer not to say. How would you describe your sexual orientation? Heterosexual, lesbian, gay man, bisexual, or prefer not to say. And who do you live with? Please choose an option of the following: alone, with a spouse or partner, with family, in residential accommodation, prefer not to say, or other, and please tell me what if other. Okay. Do you have any long-standing physical or mental illness or disability? So anything that was longer than a year? Yes, no, or prefer not to say. Is there anyone who is sick, disabled, or elderly who you look after or give special help to? For example, a sick, disabled, or elderly relative, wife, husband, partner, child, or friend? Yes, no, or I prefer not to say. Okay, excellent. So at this time, I'd just like to check in with you and see how you're doing. And that was the end of the first portion of the survey. Okay, great. You're doing all right. Did you have any questions for me? So first, I'll give you options for you to say which best describes you, and then you get to tell me why as an open-ended. Okay. The first is I keep my emotions to myself. The second is I share my emotions only with my family. The third is I share my emotions only with my friends. And the fourth is I share my emotions with family and friends. And could you tell me why that is? Okay, great, thank you. Next, which of the following emotions give you the most intense feelings? You can select more than one emotion, but I would like for you to tell me again why afterward. Okay. So the options, and these again are which ones give you the most intense feelings. We have contented, happy, excited, overjoyed, fearful, restless, worried, sad, or angry. Of course, it was contented, happy, excited, and overjoyed. Okay, and could you tell me why? Okay, that's completely fine. Alright, no problem. Okay, so given the following events, which one would produce the most negative emotional response in you and why? Okay. So your options are you have a problem at school, you have a problem at home, you have a problem with a friend, or you have a problem with a rival at home or at school achieving a goal you hoped to achieve. So which of these would give you the most negative emotional response? And why is that? Okay, thank you very much. On the other side, given the following events, what do you think causes the most positive reaction in you? And again, I'll ask you why. So you receive money, whether you earned it or won it. You receive a good grade. You receive that new object you wanted for a while. Or you receive unexpected popularity. And can you tell me why? Okay, perfect, thank you. Alright, and the final question for this emotional survey is there is a stereotype that girls express their emotions in public more than boys. Do you agree with this stereotype? So, men and women, males and females, however you'd like to look at it. Do you believe that the female sex is more likely to express their emotions in public than the male sex? Okay, excellent. Okay. How are you doing at this point? Okay, great. I'm glad. We have another mood and feelings questionnaire. Yeah, this one is asking you about how you've been feeling or acting recently, meaning again within like the past 2 weeks, okay? And you only have 3 potential answers. Yes. So I'll give you a statement and then you'll tell me whether this is not true, sometimes, or true. So not true, sometimes true, or always true, essentially. Okay, do you have any questions for me before we begin? Okay, great. Well, don't feel shy to stop me if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. Okay. So within the past 2 weeks, is this statement not true, sometimes true, or true? Number 1, I felt miserable or unhappy. Number 2, I didn't enjoy anything at all. Number 3, I was less hungry than usual. Number 4, I ate more than usual. Number 5, I felt so tired I just sat around and did nothing. Number 6, I was moving and walking more slowly than usual. Number 7, I was very restless. Number 8, I felt I was no good anymore. Number 17, I thought about death or dying. Number 18, I thought my family would be better off without me. Number 19, I thought about killing myself. Number 20, I didn't want to see my friends. Number 21, I found it hard to think properly or concentrate. Number 22, I thought bad things would happen to me. Okay, no problem. Number 23, I hated myself. Okay. Number 24, excuse me. I felt I was a bad person. Number 25, I thought I looked ugly. Number 26, I worried about aches and or pains. Number 27, I felt lonely. Number 28, I thought nobody really loved me. Number 29, I didn't have any fun in any of my activities. Number 30, I thought I could never be as good as other people. Number 31, I did everything wrong. Number 32, I didn't sleep as well as I usually sleep. I slept a lot more than usual. Okay, great. That was the end of that questionnaire. You still doing okay? I know this is a lot. We only have one more to go, and it's not too terribly long, okay? And all of the answers are yes or no, so that should be a lot easier as well. Yeah, I tried to end it on a nice note. Okay, so just let me know to the best of your ability whether or not this is a yes or a no. Okay, and this is just in general because some of these questions will pertain to your life thus far, right, in its entirety. So just to the best of your ability, has there ever been a period of time when you are not your usual self? And that is the sort of prompt for all of the statements that follow. So you're thinking about any period of time in your life where you kind of weren't who you would typically consider yourself to be, and then one of these things happened, okay? So the first one is you felt so good or so hyper that other people thought you were not your normal self, or you were so hyper that you got into trouble. You were so irritable that you shouted at people or started fights or arguments. You felt much more self-confident than usual. You got much less sleep than usual and found that you didn't really miss it. You were much more talkative or spoke faster than usual. Thoughts raced through your head, or you couldn't slow your mind down. You were so easily distracted by things around you that you had trouble concentrating or staying on track. You had much more energy than usual. You were much more active or did many more things than usual. You were much more social or outgoing than usual. For example, you telephoned your friends in the middle of the night. You were much more interested in sex than usual. You did things that were unusual for you or that other people might have thought were excessive, foolish, or risky. Spending money got you or your family in trouble. Okay, so the next question is essentially, have several of these ever happened during the same period of time? Yes or no? Okay. And how much of a problem did any of these cause you, such as being able to work, having family, money, or legal troubles, getting into arguments or fights? And your choices here are that it was no problem, that it was a minor problem, that it was a moderate problem, or that it was a serious problem. Okay, have any of your blood relatives, meaning your children, your siblings, your parents or grandparents, your aunts or your uncles, had manic depressive illness or bipolar disorder? Okay, perfect. Well, that is the end of the questions that I needed to ask you today. Did you have any special notes that you'd like for me to leave for the doctor? Okay, alright. No problem. If you do think of anything, you can give the eloMED telephone number a call back, and then you'll press, let's see, it's 1-1, and then when it asks you for the extension number, mine is 632. Yeah, do you need a minute to write that down? Of course. Right, so you'll call the main number for eloMED. You'll press 1, and then you'll press 1 again. so choose. Okay. Yeah, I know sometimes we think about things, and after a while we feel like maybe something we said wasn't accurate with how we really feel, and it can be pretty upsetting to know that you put something on record that you disagree with. And it's not always easy to answer these questions in the heat of the moment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you were doing before I called. You could have been in the middle of work, or relaxing, or watching television, or who knows. So it's not like you were prepared ahead of time, and it's completely normal to have something that you might think of afterwards. So don't hesitate to give me a call if that does happen to be the case for you. And if you have a pen and paper, or if you want to make a note in your phone, I'm just going to give you our case number here. Alright, you ready? Okay, it's 890-1121-7536. Okay. Yep, so I'll say it one more time. It's 890-1121-7536. So in the event that you need to have someone pull this file up, that would be the number that you would give them. Okay. Alright, great. Did you have any other questions while we're on the line? Anything going on with your services or medicines, or policy with us that you had any questions about? Okay, alright, great. Well, I'm glad that you are happy with the service so far, and I hope that it stays that way. So please do, like I said, let me or anyone else at our company know if you do have any questions or concerns. We'll be happy to help with that right away. Okay, perfect. Well, I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for taking the time out to